Huh? Okay. Let me check real quick. I don't see anything yet. It's like you said, we're good. I said we're all we're good to go. I don't see it yet. Huh? Oh, well, I see it. No time for. Well, that being said, yeah. Shalom, family. Y'all Bashim Yashar Brakathon to my brothers. Y'all Shamal Thon Bashim Yashar to my sisters. You know what time it is, you know what day it is. It's Monday. You understand? Right? And in the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Yahanna. How do we like to get down on Mondays? It's the history class. You understand? Where we like to give stories and descriptions about the ancient days and showing how they relate to us in the modern times. You understand? Right? And just to be clear, just make sure who we got in the conference call with us tonight?
Young man Desmond.
All right, young man Desmond in the building. Okay, who else we got?
Georgia had one young man shot checking in from Albany, Georgia.
Oh man, young man, I was all the way from Albany, Georgia with us. All right. Most High in Christ. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay. Cool beans. All right. And now with tonight's class, we have a lot going on with today's time and standing. We have a lot that has been going on when it comes to our people, specifically and only, you understand, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right. And tonight's class is titled 400 years. 400 years of forgiveness. Right? 400 years of forgiveness. You understand? We definitely wanted to touch on this because we are in the month of February, you understand? And of course, February is supposed to be Black History Month. Black History Month, where we're supposed to be so excited, where we can talk. You understand? Talk about our accomplishments. Talk about the things that we've overcome. You understand? And finally, be proud about it. You understand? Not just be proud about it, to be openly proud about it. All right? And really, when you think of it, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing, you understand? But when you look at the history of Black History Month and how it started, because you wanted to be able to teach your children. You want to get recognition. You understand? And you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to beg to talk about your history. You understand? You shouldn't have to do that. You understand? But also, our people were able to get this notion of Black History Month, even though it started off as Negro Week. You understand? It started off as Negro Week. Our people accepted that. They accepted how the oppressor treated them. You understand? They accepted how he treated them with this. You understand? It was okay with them. They gave a pass, and ultimately, our people, our so-called leaders, especially, they forgave the oppressor for this treatment. They forgave him because at least he gave them something. You understand? He gave them something. It made them feel comfortable. You understand? And our people have been doing this for a very, very long time. Long time, understand? We're going to talk about this, about how this forgiveness, especially for the oppressor, you understand? But that's the problem. We're so quick to forgive our oppressor, you understand? But how quick are you to forgive your brother, you understand, for something so simple as stepping on your shoes in the club? How quick are you to forgive um, how quick are you to forgive your sister? You understand? Because you think she was talking about you at work. You understand? Maybe spreading rumors about you. Our people are so quick to forgive their oppressor. You understand? We can't forgive each other, man. This is what we have to teach our people. You understand? This is not what the church is going to teach. The church is only going to teach forgiveness for God, and that's it. But forgive your brother as well, you understand? Because that's what God wants. You understand? Don't worry about your oppressor. Don't worry about loving your oppressor. Love God. Love your brother. You understand? So we're definitely going to talk about that. All right? So, if you have sat in my class before, you know that I love definitions. Okay? This class, you understand, this is not a sermon. This is not church. This is class where we teach. Understand? If you have questions, we answer. Saying if we can't get the answer right away, we will do the research. We will ask men above us, higher men who will know more, who have more wisdom. And so, you understand, so we can convey that message and give you the answer. You understand? All right. So now, before we really get into it, let's get a definition of forgive. Right? Let's get a definition of forgive.
Salakia, son.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this Yahanna and Ron are checking it.
Hey, young man Ron in the building. All right, all right. Good to hear from you, brother. Okay. So let's start us off with the definition of forgive. All right. The definition of forgive, coming from dictionary.com, is to grant pardon for or remission, to give up all claim on account of, to grant pardon to a person, to cease to feel resentment against, to cancel any indebtedness or liability of, to pardon an offense or an offender. You understand? Now that's real heavy, especially that part, to cease to feel resentment against. You understand? It's like our people don't have resentment towards their oppressor. They have love for him. They give him a pass. You understand? For all the atrocities he's committed. You understand? All the atrocities, all the crimes, the trespasses he has committed against our people for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Right? Let's get some more. Get some more, you understand? Let's get some words that are associated with forgiving, right? More words that are affiliated with forgive. All right, they can be compared to. When it comes to forgive, other words that are related to forgiving are to acquit, absolve, condone, excuse, forget. You understand? With this class, we want to teach our people to not forget the crimes that your oppressor has committed against you, against your people. You understand? Don't forget that. You don't have to forgive the oppressor. Forgive your brother instead. You understand? Let's get some more words when it comes to being related to forgiving. Exempt, exonerate, release, overlook. Overlook. Too many times we have decided to overlook the crimes that our oppressor has committed against us. We overlook them because we feel that we're in a more comfortable place. You understand? We overlook them because we might feel that, oh, the oppressor can do a whole lot worse to us. Understand? We want to overlook that. We want to exempt him from the crimes he has committed. We want to clear him, maybe because he gives an apology. You understand? And interesting enough, he gives the same apology every year after so-called Halloween because he wants to dress in blackface. This happens every year, and our people still forgive him. They still clear him of any crimes because he said he was sorry. You understand? But you have to understand the spirit of the oppressor as well. You can't release him from the crime. You understand? You can't release him from it. You cannot accept his apology. More words and phrases familiar and that are associated with forgiving. You can't accept his apology. All right? Because his apology means nothing to his action. It means nothing. You understand? But you want to accept your apology from your brother. If I want to come in and slap some people, and slap them all in the face, and step on their shoes, kick them in the stomach, and then I say, I apologize. I apologize. I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. But that's what the oppressor does. The oppressor has his foot on your neck. The oppressor kicks you in the back. You understand? The oppressor taps your pockets. You understand? He shortens the food on purpose. He pays you virtually in peanuts. You understand? While he makes millions, you have to fight for a minimum wage. It starts at what? Officer approximately minimum wage is now what? $15 an hour, is it? I know in some states it might be.
Yeah. Well, most states I know back then at that time was like $12.
Well, let's go there. $12 an hour. While the oppressor makes millions, he makes money hand over foot. Yet you get paid $15 an hour. You understand? You can't dismiss that from your mind. You can't let him off easy. You understand? Just like when it came to George Floyd, people wanted to forgive the sheriff, not the sheriff, what was his name? Chauvin. People wanted to forgive him. Why they want to let him off easy? They want to bear no malice against him. You understand? And other people. Man, remember Dylan Roof? Dylan Roof, who came to that, who essentially infiltrated a black church because he sat in there as if he really wanted to learn something. He wanted to relate to the people, and he pulled out an AR, man, and shot those people and tortured them, man. Tortured them. And then when he gets arrested and he's taken into custody, the families of the victims, they don't bear any malice towards him. They want to quote unquote turn the other cheek. For what? What, man? Come on, man. You want to bury the hatchet. You want to wipe the slate clean. Nah, man. Nah, man. We can't let that happen. Can't let that happen. But what we want our people to do, you understand, is to charge the oppressor with his crimes. When you hear I.S.U.P.K. speaking, and they say that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We are charging him for his crimes. We don't hate him because of his color. We hate him for the crimes he has committed against our people. We hate the fact that he has not been brought to justice. That's what we're saying. We want to charge him with that, you understand? We want him to face punishment. And we want to maintain that energy against him, you understand? We want to hold his feet to the fire, figuratively. You understand? We'll let Christ do that. Let the angels do that, you know what I'm saying? That's what we want. We blame, when we hear our problems, the root of it is to blame the oppressor. To blame the oppressor, because the oppressor has beat us down to powder. You understand? And he has taught us this. That's it. You understand? Go ahead.
Shalom, Christ. I want to from our song, check it in.
Hey, all right. Shalom on Christ, brother. Go sign in Christ. All right. So now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into some of our scriptures. You understand? Let's get into this. Let's teach our people. Let's see where with all this forgiveness for the oppressor, let's see where we might have learned this from, if we could. All right. Trooper Mara, sorry, you got your sword with you? Are you stable? Or are you mobile?
I'm not stable, sir.
All right. If you could, let's go to the book of Numbers. Let's go to the book of Numbers, Baba Shah. Chapter 14. Chapter 14. And young man Abishai. Young man Abishai, I would like for you to grab Hosea 7:16. All right. Super Mario, if you could start us off in the book of Numbers, chapter 14. And let's start me off at verse 1. We're gonna go from verse 1 to verse 4.
Numbers 14 and 1. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried. And the people wept that night.
Continue on.
Verse 2. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron.
Okay, hold on. So now, just a little backdrop. We're in the book of Numbers, and the Israelites from back then are speaking against Aaron and Moses. Now, this is after they were rescued, you understand, from the clutches of Pharaoh and the Egyptians. They were rescued from their oppressors, the one who had them in captivity, the ones who had them in slavery for generations upon generations. All right, keep going.
And the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt?
Okay, well, God had that we had died. That we had died in the land of Egypt. These people are getting upset because they just had to get up and drop everything and leave the comfort of their captivity. They had to leave the comfort of their captivity, what they were used to. You understand? They grew used to being slaves of the Egyptians. But now they're in a different place. They're under different circumstances. And they don't want to live like that. You understand? So now they're speaking against their leaders. All right? Go ahead.
We have died in this wilderness.
Keep going.
Verse 3. And wherefore hath the Lord brought us unto this land, fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be in prey? Or is it not better for us to return into Egypt?
Keep going.
Verse 4. And they said one to another, let us take the captive and let us return into Egypt.
They said, let us return to Egypt. Let us go back to being slaves. Let us go back and beg the people to take us back into captivity, to put us back in chains. You understand? Even if they weren't in chains physically, they didn't mind the mental captivity. Go ahead. Somebody said Salakia. That's right. That's right. That's what they want. That's what they want. You understand? They want to go back to the captivity of Egypt. They said, oh, well, you know what? Compared to what we're going through right now, you know what? Egypt ain't that bad. It's not that bad. Granted, I had to shuck corn. I had to help build their pyramids with 2-ton stones. You know what? It's not that bad. I wouldn't mind going back. You understand? And right here in their hearts, they forgave the Egyptians. but they could not forgive their brother. They wanted to speak as their brother, someone who was trying to help them and save their lives and save the lives of their children's lives and the lives of their children's lives. You understand? They wanted to they were so easy to forgive the oppressor. So easy. You understand? But not only do we see that in the times of Moses, of Aaron. You understand? We also see it in today's time as well. You understand? The young man just said Al Sharpton. But how about this? What if I could show you another example of where we might have learned this from, where we could have learned this from our so-called leaders? You understand? First, let's go to hold on, we had another example. Let's say we had another scripture. Let's go to Hosea, and then we'll get another example for modern time. Let's go to Hosea 7:16. For sure.
The book of Hosea, chapter 7 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
They returned, but not to the Most High.
Mm-hmm. See, they want to go back. They want to go back. If not into the land, into the customs of their oppressors, to the customs of their captors. Understand? They said it's not that bad. They forgave them. They forgave them. And remember now, what were some of the phrases? What were some other words when it came to forgiving? What do we see? To exonerate, right? To give a pass, to clear, to bear no malice. The people who punished you with whips and chains and scorpions, you accepted, you bore them no malice. You overlooked the crimes that they committed against us. That's what happened. You understand? Keep going.
They are like these people both.
Mm-hmm.
Their princes shall fall by the sword.
That's right.
For the rage of their tongue.
For the raise of their tongue. Their leaders will fall by the raise of their tongue. What's their tongue saying? It's okay. Forgive the oppressor. He's not that bad. We can make it work. We'll overcome someday. You understand? And hey, it's all right. Hey, at least he gave us Black History Month. You understand? And at least he gave us a show during the he gave us a segment during the Super Bowl. Right? That's what was so special. That's what was supposed to be so special about the Super Bowl. Two black quarterbacks going against each other. So now you had everybody performing. It just had to be black. Just had to be black. See, the oppressor's not that bad. He put us in the spotlight. We can make money by the rage of their tongue. Keep going. This shall be the derision in the land of Egypt. Again, even if you don't go back to that land, because if you see earlier in this chapter, they also talk about Assyria, which is another oppressor. Assyria had a similar spirit of Egypt, captivity, oppression. You understand? We can't go back to this. We can't keep forgiving the oppressor. How can you get respect from your enemy when you keep forgiving him? How can you get respect from your enemy? You keep forgiving him. Why shouldn't he respect you? We hear about reparations. Why should your oppressor give you reparations when you just so easily forgive him? Why? Why should he help you? He can just keep his foot on your neck. He didn't have to do anything. You're not fighting back. You don't even have to fight back physically. You can fight back spiritually. You don't have to follow his ways. You don't have to follow his ways. You want to be like the oppressor. The scriptures say, why trimmest thou ways? You don't have to be like the oppressor. Because our people have been taught to be like the oppressor. That's why we don't get respect. That's why we can still be treated like slaves in this society. Somebody says, Salakia? My God, give that brother a hand, man. Give that brother a hand. Absolutely. Can we all just get along? That these people beat that man. We're talking about Rodney King. The LAPD had at least, I think it was either 4 to 5 oppressors that were cops that beat him on the side of the road with nightsticks, kicked him in the face and everything over a simple traffic stop. And now he wants everybody to just get along. Can we all just get along? No, we can't. That's your answer. No. You cannot get along with your oppressor because your oppressor is not trying to get along with you. The oppressor doesn't want to get along with you. The oppressor wants to keep oppressing you. He wants to keep you as a slave. That's what he wants. That's what some of our leaders want too, because they're comfortable in their circumstances. They fear their oppressor, but they should be fearing the Most High. You understand? So if I could, let me pull out, this is history. You understand? Now let me pull out an excerpt from a book entitled, and if I could, brothers and sisters, you can hear my voice. You should get this book. This is a great book to read. You understand? It's a great history book. It's called Dirty Little Secrets About Black History, Its Heroes, and Other Troublemakers. You understand? From Claude Anderson. All right? And here's the excerpt entitled Booker T. Washington, the Great Compromiser. All right? So if I could, let me read this for you. Booker T. Washington was invited by conservative whites to speak at the Cotton States and International Exposition in Atlanta on September 18, 1895. His speech was one of the most memorable and most devastating in the history of this nation. Washington's remarks, popularly known as the Atlanta Compromise speech, were delivered to a racially segregated Southern audience at a time when Black people were being lynched at a rate of 1 a day and denied all their basic constitutional rights. Booker T. Washington encouraged Blacks to accommodate oppressors by renouncing their interest in racial equality, to accept a subordinate status and structural economic inequalities in exchange for some, quote unquote, separate but equal educational assistance throughout the South, especially for his school, Tuskegee, Alabama. Washington counseled Blacks to quote, cast down your bucket where you are, to stay farmers, mechanics, and domestics, end quote. He further comforted whites by stating, quote, that in all things purely social, we can be as separate as the fingers on the hand, end quote, and urged oppressors to hire Negroes rather than immigrants, quote, because Negroes were, and get this, he called Negroes the most patient, faithful, law-abiding, and unresentful people that the world has ever seen. That's some of our leaders right there. And this leader is from the old school, the old school. Booker T. Washington. And guess what? Our people have been taught to talk about him every year as if he was such a great man. Understand? But here's some more. Quote, the wisest from Booker T, the wisest among my race understand that the agitation of questions of social equality is the extremist of folly, end quote. The oppressors were elated. The men gave Washington a standing ovation, and the women threw flowers. Of course, now those are oppressors. With the exception of Black conservatives, Blacks in the convention center and across America were shocked and hurt, while still suffering the pains of, at the time, of 260 years of slavery and a failed reconstruction. Black people sat and cried in the aisles of the convention hall because they knew at that moment Booker T. Washington had traded away their future and there would be dark days ahead. And they were right. In the year after Washington's speech, the United States Supreme Court handed down its famous Plessy versus Ferguson decision, and the legal doctrine of separate but equal, the basis for Jim Crow segregation. You see? You see what happens when you want to forgive the oppressor? He oppresses you even more.
Right.
He oppresses you even more. You understand? And let me bring those words out again. When you want to acquit, you want to appease, you understand? You want to accept his apology, you want to bear him no malice, let him off easy. Think no more of. Dismiss from your mind. Let bygones be bygones. You understand? This is what happens to us. This is what happens to us, man. I bet y'all never taught history like this. You've never taught history like this. Your church is not going to tell you this. And this is why we keep telling people to leave the Christian church. Leave the Islam mosque. They're not here to help you. They're not here to help you. Those concepts, those ideologies are only in place to please the oppressor, to appease the oppressor. Everybody understand?
Uh-huh.
All right. Okay. Osai Christ. So now let's get back into some more scriptures. All right? Let's get back into some more scriptures, okay? We just talked about how, you know what I'm saying, how we learned to forgive the oppressor. Right? We taught this as well. Okay? Well, let's see some of these some of the misconceptions when it comes to forgiveness. All right? Go ahead.
If I say right quick,
Yes.
don't forget the non-verbal forgiveness, like Amber Geiger, how they would comb her hair and petting her down and hugging her.
Absolutely. Don't worry. We're going to get into that.
Wow, wow.
We're going to get into that. But Most High in Christ, excellent point still. Because people need to, that's good, because people still need to remember that. Still need to remember that, you understand? All right? So now let's get to a little bit of a misconception when it comes to forgiveness, all right? I'm sorry, we could. Let's go to Luke. Let's go to Luke 6 and 37. And young man Ron, you got your sword with you? All right, I would like you to get Luke 17 for me. And young man Abishai, I would like you to get Matthew chapter 6.
I want to know.
All right. Like I said, this is class. This is not a sermon. You understand? We participate, we ask questions, we give statements, and we learn. You understand? All right. So now, with a misconception of forgiveness. All right. So now let's start us off with Luke chapter 6. Starting off at verse 37. I just need verse 37. Oh, my apologies. Luke chapter 6. Luke chapter 6. No sweat. Hold on. Let have. Ryan, I want you to do. You're going to have Luke 17 and start us off in verse 3. But first, Marisar, Luke 6 and 37. Uh-huh.
Judge not, and ye shall not be judged.
Okay, hold on.
Condemn not.
So now, that's this first part here. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. All right. So now, we're always taught when it comes to judging and stuff. What's a famous quote? What's a cliche quote when it comes to judging or to condemn somebody for being wrong, to accuse somebody to be wrong? What is a very cliche um, statement? Somebody said something like it. I think it was Abishai, was that you first? Or was it Ron?
I'm not sure which one it was first, but I think I got the answer.
Okay, Abishai, you're up. Go ahead.
The like the other one, if I may, only God can judge.
Very good. That's it. Only God can judge me. But here, Christ is saying, "Judge not, and ye shall not be judged." All right. But the thing is, the church sticks with that first line. Judge not, you won't be judged. Right? But let's continue on, Mama. What else does the scripture say?
All right. Condemn not,
Uh-huh.
you shall not be condemned.
Okay. And what's that last part, though?
Forgive, and you shall be forgiven.
Wow. So it says the judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn, and you won't be condemned. But forgive, and you shall be forgiven. Right? So now the church teaches our people to don't judge at all. Right? Don't judge at all. When somebody has robbed you, the church is going to tell you, no, you can't call them a robber. You can't accuse them of robbery. Right? What the Bible says, judge not, and you won't be judged. The church is going to tell you to not call a woman who stepped out on her man to sleep with another man. Oh, you can't judge her. You can't judge her. Understand? Doesn't make any sense. Talk to me. Hey, I was what's going on? You all right? Talk to me. This is class. Let's get it.
What you just said is so heavy, I've been watching, this guy, he's a Facebook and YouTube creator. But he's been doing videos on the Christian church and why people are not going back to the Christian church. He was gathering videos off the internet of different instances at church. And this one lady got up and she said to, I guess it's the first lady or the prophetess of the church.
Mm-hmm.
She said the reason we stopped coming to church is because you told us to come as we were, and when we came as we were, we had on the short dresses and the tight blouses, and we didn't know how to dress and be bad how to talk about it. We had more than one baby dad, we ran to talk about it, kept us away, and we never got to build us up, things to tear us down. This was a constant thing throughout all the videos that this brother was putting out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, about the Christian church. And that's the difference between the I.S.U.P.K and the Christian church.
Right.
You're gonna come into the I.S.U.P.K however you are in the world, true enough. But when you get here, you're gonna be a changed man, a changed woman based on the people that you're around, because you will not want to be less than what you see the brothers and sisters are doing themselves with. You want to be the one out of character. You always want to be the one to get in. But in the church, they never give you a chance to try to get in. They want you to be perfect, even though they say come as you are.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And see, also the thing when it comes to the church compared to the I.S.U.P.K, you understand? The church will make people feel as if they've never been that way. You understand? The first lady or the so-called prophetess of the church, or the woman who wants to be a reverend, when the scriptures clearly say that she should not be the leader of a church, you understand, has slept with many men. You understand? More than likely, and most times the female pastor of a church is a single woman with at least 2 kids. With at least 2 kids. But now she wants to condemn other women. She wants to talk bad about other women. She talks about women. She talks about other women as if she wasn't like that, as if she is not like that. You understand? But we in I.S.U.P.K, we talk to the brothers. You understand? We talk to the brothers. We'll say, brother, I've been in your shoes. I know what you're going through. I know what it's like. Come to this side so we can get out. Come to this side so you can be better. Come to this side so you won't have to do that. You won't have to live that lifestyle. You understand? And then sometimes you have to essentially like forgive yourself. You understand? Somebody say something like it real quick.
What you just said, so if the Christian church they don't teach forgiveness. They teach you to remember. They teach you to hold on. They teach you to keep that thing that's egging you on in your life, and then bother you. They teach you to hold on to it and harbor that hatred or that ill will or that jealousy, that envy. Whatever it is, you want you to hold on to it so you can come back to that church and drop off your whole shit and repeat the cycle throughout the week.
Oh yeah.
The Christian pastor does not care about the spirit and the soul of people. Only care about their wives.
Absolutely. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Just like how we said, like you understand, like you have to learn how to forgive yourself. The pastor wants you to stay in that mode, in that emotional state of sadness and sorrow, you understand? So you can depend on him to give you some kind of breakthrough. So you can depend on him to entertain you. You understand? But we're not about that at all. We're about our people getting out of captivity, getting out of oppression. You understand? And charging the oppressor for the crimes he's committed, because the oppressor essentially is the one who put you in that condition. You understand? When people go to church and they want to say, "Oh God, I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. Oh God, how am I going to have to keep the lights on?" You understand? Guess what? The oppressor put you in that kind of situation. The oppressor gave you a job where you barely have enough to make ends meet. You have to keep depending on the oppressor. He's the one who did that to you. You understand? He's the one that made the groceries so high that it eats up all your check. He's the one that does it. He's the one who increases the rent. You understand? I hear that people are paying what, $12 now for a carton of eggs, or is it 18?
I think it's 12.
12? You see what I'm saying? It's at least 12 for a carton of eggs. Guess what? It's the oppressor doing it. The oppressor doing it. The oppressor is the one who jacked up the gas prices, right? Ever since he went to war with Afghanistan, the gas has been constantly $3. It did not drop until COVID hit. It took 20 years. It took almost 15 years for the gas to drop, and it took a plague to do it. That the Most High sent for gas to drop. Because remember, now during COVID, gas was actually $1, at least $1.75. And people couldn't believe it. That's what we're saying. It's the oppressor who's doing it. It's not your brother. It's not your brother, the one who's suffering just like you. It's the oppressor who is eating deliciously off of you. He's the one who put you in this situation. All right? Let's continue on. Go ahead.
The Christian church, they talk about you can't judge, only God can judge and all that, but isn't the book of Judges all about the Most High sending judges that judge Israel?
Hey, I can only do so much. I can only do so much. And again, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're trying to get our people out of the Christian church, because the Christian church is just it's just so pseudo. You understand? It's really make believe. It's make believe. It's whatever you want to believe. Okay, but it's not off of facts. It's off of emotions. Okay, it's not for scriptures. It's not for scriptures. It's only about circumstances. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead. Oh, somebody else say Salaki?
Off topic. My brother had just called me up at Brian Carlisle. Carlisle, he gonna call me to get a battle.
No sweat. Most High in Christ. Water for that. All right. Let's go to let's talk about some more forgiveness. Let's go to Matthew 6. Starting off at verse 9 and 15.
No, one count. The book of Matthew, chapter 9, and verse 15.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Yahanna said unto and the children of the bride came forth.
Hold on, Salaki. Hold on. Hold on, Salaki. Sorry. You should be at Matthew 6 and 9. Matthew chapter 6. No sweat.
Look at Matthew chapter 6 and verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
After this manner, therefore pray ye.
Go ahead.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Okay, so now let's hear about this. Now this is interesting. This is, of course, the Lord's Prayer. This is something that we've been taught since we were children. Since we were children, okay? This is the Lord's will, all right? Of course, now the church doesn't really talk much on this, right? The church just shows you this, and it just has you to repeat it, okay? But continue on. Let's see what the Lord's will is. Continue on.
Verse 11. Give us this day our daily bread.
Okay, real quick. Now, this is our daily bread. Now, this is something that we need on a daily. This is something we need every day. This is something because the bread is food, right? Bread is food. Bread is something that is nutrition, right? Something that we need for the body. Okay. And here we're talking also something figuratively, right? So this is food for thought. Okay. So this is going to help our mental stability as well as brothers and sisters, as men and women on this earth. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And forgive us our debt.
Uh-huh.
As we forgive our debtors.
Read it again.
Verse 12. And forgive us our debt as we forgive our debtors.
Right here. Forgive us our debts. Forgive us what we owe. Forgive us what we owe. You understand? As we forgive the people who owe us. Forgive us the people. Forgive us for our hurt, Lord, as we forgive the people who have hurt us. That's what we have to do. But remember, the people who hurt us, we're talking to people like us. We're talking to people like us. We're talking to people who suffer just like us. You understand? We're not talking to the oppressor. We're not talking about the oppressor. We are talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We're talking about the people who are the most oppressed on the face of the earth. Those are your people. Those are your brothers. Those are your sisters. You understand? And those are the people who need forgiveness. Those are the people who really need salvation. You understand? They need forgiveness because they're the ones who are being killed. They're the ones who are being killed. You understand? Think about this. When you hear about the black on black crime, you hear about that cliche, right? Brothers are killing brothers, brothers are killing sisters, so on and so forth. Why is that? Why is that? Because they're so angry. So angry with one another. They're not forgiving one another. You understand? Think about that. That's why so many murders happen. Because we can't forgive one another. But we look at the statistics, blacks killing oppressors is very low. It's very low. And remember, and granted now, we do not advocate or promote for our people to go out and ensue violence against the oppressor. Make no mistake, we're not promoting that. We're promoting more on love between the black man and the black woman, Hispanic man and the Hispanic woman. You understand? The black man and the Hispanic man. That's what we're trying to promote. That's what we want. That's who needs to be forgiven between our nations. You understand? Right? And continue on. Young man, I'm shot.
And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Lead us not into that temptation. You understand? When I have an argument with my brother, and if things just get so hot and heavy, then we have to start pulling out guns. Lead us not into that temptation. Lead us not to that temptation to take that man's life, because we have a misunderstanding. Because he has offended me. You understand? We're not trying to do that. Okay? That's the misconception. Because you just think that you just have to forgive the oppressor. That's the misconception. No. What you should do is forgive your brother. Forgive your sister. All right? Keep going.
For thine is the kingdom,
Uh-huh.
and the power, and the glory,
Mm-hmm.
forever. Amen.
All right, now keep going. Give me 14 and 15.
For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 15. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses.
And say right here, these two scriptures here. If you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will forgive you. And remember now, before you heard the I.S.U.P.K, you thought that everybody in the Bible was of a brighter complexion. Am I correct? You thought that everybody in the Bible was of a vanilla colored persuasion. It never crossed your mind that the people in the Bible were actually people who looked just like you. You understand? And the church, again, that's another misconception when it comes to forgiveness, because the church is not teaching you to forgive your brother. The church is teaching you to forgive your oppressor. Right? Forgive men their trespasses. Heavenly Father will forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, your Father won't forgive you. Isn't that something? And so now, this is what happens to us. We keep getting oppressed because we are being taught to forgive the oppressor. We're taught this from the church. It's another misconception of forgiveness, you understand? Right? So now, if we could, True Marisar brought up a good point about a situation where a brother forgave the killing of his blood brother, which just happened to be by an oppressive girlfriend. All right? Now we could. This is some more history. Let's get into another article, if we could. Okay? Get into an article. Now this is from 2019. All right? And this article is titled, it's entitled, "The Problem with Always Asking Black People to Forgive." titled "The Problem with Always Asking Black People to Forgive." Right? So it starts off with the story from Dallas. Former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger had just been sentenced to 10 years in prison for fatally shooting a black man, Bolton John, in his own apartment. John's younger brother, Brent John, was on the witness stand and giving the victim impact statement when he turned to the judge and made the most unusual request. Quote, "I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please?" He asked. What happened next stunned both the courtroom and the nation. John stepped off the witness stand and stepped over to Geiger. The two hugged for nearly a minute. Quote, "I forgive you. And I know if you go to God and ask him, he will forgive you," John told Geiger. "I think giving your life to Christ is the best thing both would want." You see this? He was so eager to forgive a person because church taught him this. Church taught him that, to forgive his oppressor. Right? Let's continue on. But this isn't the first time that a black victim of violence has offered public forgiveness to the perpetrator. Some relatives of the 9 victims in the 2015 Charleston, South Carolina church shooting publicly forgave killer, emphasis on killer, Dylan Roof, just a few days after the massacre. The mother of Walter Scott, an unarmed man who was gunned down by a South Carolina police officer that same year, told CNN Anderson Cooper that she felt forgiveness in her heart. And so now this lady has suffered this before, and she still wants to forgive the oppressor. You still want to do it, man. It's been ingrained in us to forgive the oppressor. It's been ingrained in us, you understand? Let's keep going. But many of the black victims, including the mother of Michael Brown, slain in 2014 in Ferguson, Missouri, are not so quick to absolve. And not everyone agrees with this method of instant and public forgiveness. Trayvon Martin's mother, Sabrina Fulton, said earlier this year that she has not been able to forgive George Zimmerman for the killing of her son in Florida in 2012. Quote, "I think black people are not forced to forgive, but they are expected to forgive." That's interesting. Now, why is that? They're expected to forgive. Continue on, because there are so many times where we have forgiven people who have done mean, evil, and nasty things to us. Now, you know who she's talking about. You know who she's talking about. We're expected to forgive them. We're expected. Why? Because we've been doing it for years. We've been doing it for centuries. We've been doing it for generations. Forgiving the oppressor. We've been forgiving them. What are some of those words? Other than forgiving? We've exonerated him. We've given him amnesty. We've acquitted him. We've overlooked it. You understand? We bear him no malice. Come on, man. Come on. You can't keep doing this. But the oppressor expects you to, because you've been doing it for so long. Continuing on with this article, the second section, it's a part of their Christian faith. Forgiveness is mentioned many times in the Bible and is a pinnacle of the Christian faith. See? Forgiveness. That's what that's about. That's what Christianity is about. Christianity is not about it's not about serving God. It's just about forgiveness. Right?
So like I want,
Talk to me.
is it safe to say that the type of forgiveness that the Christians give our oppressor is like the basis of like justifying the wickedness that they do in the earth?
Let me see if I can find a synonym for that. And what's your question? Repeat that again for me.
The forgiveness that we give our oppressor for the things that they commit in the earth is a way that, you know, we justify the wickedness that they do. We don't have the same forgiveness for our people, where our brothers and sisters in Israel commit sins. We're more quick to forgive the oppressor for his sins. And is that like a sense of justifying his wickedness compared to the wickedness that we do? So,
It's not going to. I wouldn't say it necessarily justifies his wickedness, but from the oppressor's perspective, it will say that it's all right to do it. I'm not going to say it equates for him to do that, at least from the black perspective. But what happens is when according to the black perspective, like another phrase for forgive is to wipe the slate clean. You understand? To let bygones be bygones, to let off easy, to give a pass, to think no more of, or even to bury the hatchet. You understand? To excuse, forget, and absolve. So blacks, because they've been taught by oppressive Christians. You understand? They think that essentially that if they forgive the oppressor for his crimes, because again, they're the ones who put Christianity on them, then they will get a seat in the sky in heaven. All right? But now, let's continue on with this article. All right? Let's drop down and see. When it comes to forgiving the oppressor, now this is a quote from the father of Botham John, who was killed by his oppressive girlfriend in his own apartment. Quote, that's what Christ would want us to do. When he told CNN, quote, if you will not forgive, neither will your Father forgive you. I don't want to see her rot in hell. I don't want to see her rot in prison. I hope this will help her to change and recognize the damage, the hurt that our family is going through. So I wish her well, and I pray for her family and pray for her as well. So my question is, how can the oppressor recognize the damage that they have done when you release them from it? You understand? You release them from the condemnation. You acquit them. You clear them of all charges. You want to turn the other cheek. You want to think no more of it. Why would the oppressor ever change how they are? You understand? How would they change it? Why would the oppressor change? Why would the oppressor change when you want to overlook it? When you accept their apology? All right? And that's it. That's all they have to do. Just give an apology. And they don't have to make any more amends. You understand? It's just like how we said the person, when he wants to dress in blackface for Halloween, all he has to do is give an apology. That's it. But now, let a black man do something historical and say, hey, everybody, we're Israelites. Now, he offends a whole community, a whole nation. And then guess what he has to do? He has to pay money. He loses his job. And then he has to get sensitivity training. And then become a mascot to tell everybody else not to say this, but to say that. The oppressor doesn't forgive. The oppressor seeks justice. The oppressor seeks punishment. What are you seeking? What are you seeking, black man? Right? Let's continue on. Oh, Salakia. Somebody said Salakia?
Sorry, one time, sir.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking how the Christian church is over to Christian. And they said, he said he don't want her to die to the right hand of him.
Man, yeah, give that brother a hand, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point. They even go against their own ideology. How you say that the hell that Christians know is for bad people. It's for evil people. She did something bad. She did something evil. But now, he said that she shouldn't go there. He said that she's good. See what I'm saying? You notice that Christians never say that I wish you go to hell. They hardly ever say it. When somebody dies, they always say they're in a better place. It's like nobody can do you wrong. This is what happens. This is what happens. All right? Let's see if we got some more of this article. Right? Here's a section, but it's not always easy when it comes to forgiving the oppressor. Forgiveness is one of the hallmarks of the Christian faith. A quote from Reverend Joseph Derby, who is also vice president of the Charleston branch of the NAACP, says that just because black families extend forgiveness does not mean that society doesn't need to evolve on matters of race. That doesn't make any sense. That still confuses me. It still confuses me. And that's what we're talking about with this notion of forgiveness when it comes to the oppressor. You want to forgive the oppressor, but now society, it needs to evolve on matters of race, does it or does it not? He says it does not mean that society doesn't need to evolve, but now you keep forgiving the oppressor. Why should they evolve? Why should they change? Why should they change? Again, you've been doing this for so long. That's what the oppressor's going to say to you. What he's going to say, man. And here's something interesting. There's a difference between forgiveness and the absolution of guilt. But there's also a health aspect to this. Science says forgiveness is good for us. All right? Harboring anger and hostility is associated with a higher risk of coronary heart disease, a 2009 study revealed. Isn't that something? This is why blacks should forgive. They should forgive their oppressor because it's good for their health. Forgiveness is good for the health. But eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster ain't nothing wrong with that. You see what we're saying? We've been taught this so-called notion of forgiveness, especially for the oppressor. And the church is not teaching you anything. The church is saying that forgiveness is good for the soul, it's good for your health. But they're still going to tell you to disobey God's laws. They're still going to teach you that you can do whatever you want, but God's going to forgive. Come on, man. Come on. And I also want to say that anger is a form of stress. And so when we hold on to anger, it is as though we are turning on the body's stress response or fight or flight response chronically. And when we engage in the act of forgiveness, we can begin to turn off the stress response and the psychological changes that accompany it. How does this sound to my people on the conference call? Huh? Go ahead.
It sounds sad on our part.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. Here's something else. We go into the article. Let's see. From CNN analyst Bakari Sellers tweeted, why do black folks always have to forgive? Sellers' sentiment was shared by many corners of Black America on social media. Many Black people said have been conditioned by years of trauma to reflexively offer forgiveness, especially when the perpetrator is of a lighter and vanilla colored persuasion. You understand? They also wonder whether this public forgiveness of somebody of the caustic race by a black person becomes essentially a vehicle to ease the oppressor's own feelings of guilt. Come on, man. This forgiveness of the oppressor is a tool for him. It's a tool for him. You understand? It's guerrilla warfare against our people. Quote, the focus of concern is the oppressor who committed violence and their redemption. The black person who forgives them is viewed through the oppressor gaze lens as a model minority solely for their willingness to forgive. The black person exists as a vehicle for their redemption. You understand? Come on, man. And it goes on further to say things that we've always been saying about how when 9/11 hit, the oppressor didn't forgive then. He declared war on them. And here's something else too. Here's a quote to end the article. And this comes from the Reverend Derby. Quote, I have yet to see a oppressive family go up to a black defendant, even if that defendant has apologized. And he said, my question to oppressors that are Christians is, how can you praise black people for forgiving when you don't do the same kind of thing yourself? Come on. It's right there. It's right there. We keep forgiving the oppressor. Is the oppressor going to forgive you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's get some more. You understand? Let's go to if we could. Let's go to Parasar. Let me get Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2, verse 11. Okay? Because our people have been taught to forgive the oppressor, but they haven't been taught to forgive each other. They haven't been taught that. But we're going to teach it tonight. You understand? All right. Sorry, if you could, let me get Ecclesiasticus 2 and 11. Young man, Abishai, I need you in Matthew chapter 18, verse 21. All right, Marcus, we got it? No sweat. Officer Deshaun, you still with me? Hey, if you could, let me get Ecclesiasticus real quick, chapter 2, verse 11. Yes.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2, verse 11. For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction.
Now, see, we want to be Christ-like. Christ was full of compassion for his people. The Most High is full of compassion, for his people. He's long-suffering, he's patient. He forgives our sins, okay? And we could also just try to drop down to verse 14.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2, verse 14. Woe unto you that have lost patience.
Woe to you who have lost patience, you understand? A lot of times when our brothers, they want to fight each other, they get that notion to kill each other. Why? Because they have lost patience with one another. You understand? They're not compassionate towards another. They're not loving. They're not considering or even respectful to one another. You understand? When you can't do any of that, you can't hear your brother, you can't listen to your brother, you are not going to forgive him. Right? You're not going to forgive him when if he offends you. All right? So now let's go to Matthew. We'll go to Matthew 18. And finish me off, finish that verse off, Officer Deshaun.
And what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you?
That's right. For you who have lost patience with your brother, you understand? What's going to happen when the Most High loses his patience with you? All right? I always take that into consideration. You understand? So we could. Now, let's go to Matthew chapter 18, young man Abishai. It starts off at verse 21.
Trying that one time. The book of Matthew, chapter 18, and verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times?
That's right, you understand. Now this is a conversation between the disciple or the apostle Peter. You understand? A follower of Christ, a direct follower of Christ, and he's speaking with him. He's speaking with Christ, speaking with Yahanna. How many times do I need to forgive my brother? My brother annoys the hell out of me. You understand? He keep coming in, man. He keeps disrespecting me, sir. And I don't like it, man. I really want to put hands on him, man. I really want to put hands on him, man. I really want to take it to him, Lord. Because he really irritates me, man. He really irritates me. He don't show love to him like I show love to him. What should I do? Christ said is to be considerate and forgive him. Right? And don't put a number on it either. Right? Don't say like, oh yeah, this is the last straw right here. No, you have to have that same energy, you understand? You gotta have that same energy. Forgive. You don't have to forget, but don't hold the malice against them. Don't hold the malice against her. You understand? Keep reading.
not unto thee until 7 times.
That's right.
But
Go ahead.
but until 70 times 7.
That's right. You understand? Don't put a number on it, man. You gotta keep doing it. Keep loving your brother. That's what the scripture says. My brother, my brother, my brother. Not somebody from another nation. Not somebody from another nation. But if you're your brother, somebody who suffers just like you. Understand? All right. So now we could let's continue on, man, because Christ wants to tell a story about this, man, to really bring it home, how you should love your brother, all right, and be considerate, okay. But let's see, continue on in this scripture. Go ahead, yeah, man, Abashai.
Verse 23. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 24. And when he had begun to become like, and when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which ought him 10,000 talents.
Which owed him 10,000. He owed him a lot of money. He owed him a lot. Okay. The king felt, hey man, you offended my pockets. You offended my pockets. Now we need to speak about this. So they keep on.
Now will come, verse 25. But for as much as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and children,
Mm-hmm.
and all that he had, and payment to be made.
All right, keep going though.
Verse 26. The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me,
Hold on, have what?
and I will have patience with you.
Have patience with me. Have patience with me. Lord, forgive me. I don't have everything I was supposed to have for you right now. Lord, forgive me. Have patience with me. That's what we just read in Ecclesiastes, right? It's like in Ecclesiastes, woe unto you who have lost patience with your brother. Right? What are you going to do when the Lord visits you? So now this man, his Lord had visited him. Lord, have patience with me. Forgive me. Please don't sell me. Please don't sell my wife. Please don't sell my children. Please don't separate us. Give me time. Give me time, Lord. Forgive me. And I'll make it happen. Okay. Okay. So keep going.
Now will come. The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him,
Mm-hmm.
saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all.
All right.
Verse 27.
Yes.
Then the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion, and loosed him, and forgave him the debt.
Wow, look at that. And forgave him. Forgave him the whole debt, man. Forgave him the whole debt. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing, you understand? Forgive, and you can be forgiven as well. Right? But now let's see what happens. Let's see what happens further on in this story, you understand? Because we really need to drive home the point of forgiving your brothers, forgiving somebody who suffers just like you. You understand? Because we've been taught so long to not forgive the oppressor. So it's like we've been taught to forgive the oppressor, but not to forgive our brother. You understand? We've been doing this for 400 something years. Forgiving the oppressor, man. What has it gotten us? What has it gotten us? We're still in poverty. We're still in oppression. Our brothers and sisters are dying. They're being killed. Some by the oppressor, and a lot by our own selves. Because we can't forgive. Continue on.
And will come. But the same servant went out and found one of
Mm-hmm.
which owed him 110.
Wow, he owed him only 100. Owed him 100. You understand? But now, when you look at 100 compared to 10,000, this guy didn't even owe 100 times as much as he owed the king. The original servant owed 100 times as much as what was owed to him. You understand? Continue on.
Someone come, and he laid hands on him
Uh-huh.
and took him by the throat, saying, "Pay me that thou owest."
Wow, look at that. Look at that. Pay me right now. Pay me right now. It's interesting enough. You understand? When it comes to blacks, and they don't want to pay their bills, brothers will be late on the power bill. Brothers will be late on the car bill. You understand? The power bill can run you what? At least $300 sometimes a month. The gas bill, especially in the wintertime, car note, $600-700, and you will owe the company at least 3 months worth of pay. Some brothers will be behind on their rent. 2 months pay. You understand? And they'll just give the landlord maybe just $100 worth, just so they can say that they paid him, right? But let your brother owe you $40. You understand? Let your brother owe you $100 that you got that he was supposed to pay you in a dice game. What happens then? You ready to take him out, right? There's a song from Ace Hood talking about cash flow. I need it on time. I'm talking bankrolls, my money. But at the same time, you can be behind on your rent. You'll be behind on your car notes, your utilities. You understand? But when it comes to your brother who suffered just like you don't have mercy for him. No mercy at all. You understand? Keep going.
Come, verse 29. And his fellow servants fell down at his feet and besought him, saying, "Have patience with me, and I will pay thee all."
Keep going.
And he would not.
He will what?
But when, and he would not.
Mm-hmm. He didn't care.
But when.
He didn't care at all. He didn't care at all, man. He said, man, I want my $100. I want my stuff right now. He didn't care. Keep going.
Someone come, and he would not, but went and cast him into prison.
You see what I'm saying?
But he should pay.
You see what? Yeah, he got that from an oppressor. He got that from an oppressor. You understand? But now his landlord was righteous. He tried. His landlord tried to be nice to him, right? But he didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? When you keep reading, you'll see that the landlord found out, man, and took him out, man. He said, "You know what? I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do. I'll take it back." Understand? We have to learn. You understand that we have to have patience with our people. Have patience, man. That's what I.S.U.P.K, man. I.S.U.P.K is going to teach you that patience with your people. Going to teach you discipline, man. Because that's a lot of times our people don't have that. They don't have patience. They don't have discipline because they have not been taught that. They've been taught by TV and they see what their oppressor does. The oppressor don't like something. Oh, he goes to war. Now the black man wants to do it too. Can't do what their oppressor does. You understand? You're not in his shoes. You shouldn't want to be. You shouldn't want to be in his shoes. You understand? You should want to be better than him. Show him how the world is really supposed to move, you understand? That's your job. Your person is really supposed to, the person now is supposed to be learning from you. You're supposed to be in rulership. All right? Let's see, young man Ron, if you could, let me get Ecclesiasticus real quick, chapter 28. If you still with me? Yes. That's right. 28, starting up in verse 7. No, excuse me, Salaki, my apologies. 28 verse 2, starting up verse 2.
Forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he has done unto thee.
That's right. Forgive your neighbor, you understand? And your neighbor is your brother. Your neighbor isn't just somebody who lives next to you, man. It's really neighbor. The Bible, man, is meaning like family, like brothers, sisters, people of your nation. You understand? People of your nation, your kinsmen. Forgive them. Don't worry about forgiving your oppressor. Don't worry about that, man. Let Christ handle that. In the meantime, man, forgive your brother. We've been doing this for for 400 something years now, man. Forgiving our president, it has not worked. It has not worked. Forgive your brother, you understand? Right? Let's see if we could keep reading. You know what I mean, Ron? If we could. Uh-huh.
So shall thy sin also be forgiven when thou prayest.
Mm-hmm. That's right, man. But again, it's your neighbor. Your sin will be forgiven because you don't hold that malice against him, and the Most High won't hold malice against you. Against your brother, against your neighbor. You understand? Go ahead, keep reading. We're going to stop at verse 7, if you could. Keep going. Uh-huh.
One man bear hate against another, and thus he seeks pardon from the Lord.
Wow, look at that. You hate your brother, but yet you want to seek a pardon from the Most High. You understand? It's just like how we talk about the drug dealers. The drug dealers want to say, "Oh, I love God, I love the Lord, because I wear a cross on my neck." But yet I sell cocaine to my brother as well. You understand? I wear a cross on my neck, but I'm quick to kill any nigga who takes money out of my pocket. Right? How can you say you love God? How can you ask for forgiveness? And they think that once you ask for forgiveness, as Rick Ross said, then it's back to business. You didn't want forgiveness at all. Because you really weren't trying to change. There's more to forgiveness than just asking. Forgiveness is also having a change of heart on your end. That's what we remember now. That's what we talked about. We gave the word, we gave the phrases to release, to purge, accept the apology, bear no malice. You understand? Dismiss. You got to do that with your brother, not with your oppressor. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 4. He sheweth no mercy to a man which is like himself, and doth he have forgiveness of his own sins?
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about, you understand? Showing brotherly love, man. Love to your neighbor. Somebody else, again, who suffers just like you. Just like you. You don't want to show it to him. You want that hatred that mounts in your heart. And yet you have the nerve to ask God for love. Keep going.
meat that is but flesh nourish hatred, who will entreat for pardon of his sin.
That's right, man. You're just so full of hate. You're just so full of hate. You understand? You've been taught to be full of hate. How can you have? Where's room for forgiveness? And who can actually who forgive? Who can forgive you because you can't forgive? You're just so full of hate. You got hate for your brother, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like how we see what the Bloods and the Crips. You got hate for each other. That spans for decades, and for what? You hate him because he wears a certain color. Because such and such killed my cousin such and such from years back. But now, what about the oppressor, man, who gentrified your neighborhood? What about the oppressor, man, who put your uncle on drugs? What about him? What about him? What about the oppressor, man, who put your sister, who put your cousin in a predicament, man, where she felt like she had to prostitute herself, man? Where she had to go dance just to make ends meet. What about that? Will you forgive that person? You will. But you can't forgive your brother, man. Come on, man. Come on. Keep going.
Verse 6. Remember thy head and let enmity cease.
Mm-hmm.
Remember correction and death, and abide in the commandments.
That's right, man. Abide in the commandments, man. Live in the commandments, man. Remember the corruption and death, man. You won't have to go through that, man. You don't have to go through that if you can follow the commandments. Let's go to verse 7. And real quick, and young man Abishai, if you could, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 15. All right, young man Ron, continue, please.
Remember the commandments and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Remember the covenant of the highest and weak and ignorant.
That's right, man. Remember the commandments. Don't bear malice to your brother. Remember the covenant of the highest, man. We at the ignorance, man. When the oppressor does his thing, man, don't pay no attention to it, man. Don't worry about it. Don't let it get to you like that. Save that hate for him later. But no malice towards your brother. Show love to your brother, you understand? It says when it says read the commandments. If you remember the commandments and you obey the commandments, you obey God, guess what else? You don't need forgiveness. You won't need forgiveness. Because you'll be in good standings with the Most High, man. You'll be in good standings, man. And let's find a good example of that. Yeah, man, we could, man. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 15. Start me up at verse 2.
God, that'll want to come. The book of Samuel, chapter 15 and verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Lot. Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt.
All right. So here's another story from the ancient days. You understand? This is the Most High speaking and giving the prophet Samuel some words of encouragement and some instructions as well. The Most High is saying, hey, I remember, I didn't forget what Amalek did to my people. And remember now, Amalek is now the so-called Jewish man, right? I remember what they did to my people back then when they were trying to come up out of Egypt. Keep going.
That one come. Verse 3. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have.
Okay, now real quick now, does it look like the Most High is that forgiving? Look what he's going to do to Amalek. Look what he said for Amalek. I remember what they did. I never forgot that. Matter of fact, now it's time to go and get them boys. I didn't forgive them. I did not forgive them. You don't have to either. You shouldn't. And I'm giving you the order to go get them boys. Continue reading.
That one come. And spare them not.
Ooh wee, and spare them not. This is what we wait for. This is what we wait for. When the Most High sends Christ to come down and get our oppressors. And we hope that we can partake in that. But in the meantime, we will do nothing but wait patiently and make sure we are in the good grace of the Most High. You understand? We're not going to advocate any violence against our oppressors. We're going to let the Most High do it. We're going to let Christ do it. You understand? Keep going.
That one come. But slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass.
All right, now look at this. Now when it's time to get to business, hey man, hey, spare nothing. Spare nothing. Forgive nothing. Destroy it all. Destroy it all. I don't want nothing breathing. I don't want nothing moving from that Amalek. Nothing at all. All right? Now it sounds like that God is so forgiving, as the church wants to say, right? All right. Cool, miss. Now we good. Let's go down to verse 5.
One come. Verse 5. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid waste in the valley.
Okay. Go ahead.
And Saul said unto the Kenites, Go, depart, get down from among the Amalekites.
There you go. Amalekites. Uh-huh.
For he showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. Now see, you can be sparing. You do right by people. They'll do right, others will do right by you. Now see, now here the people on a mission. This is Saul here. And he told one set of people, hey, get up out of here. I remember the kindness of your people. I remember how kind you were. You know what I'm saying? You were good to us. So you see now, these people were good. They didn't need forgiveness. They didn't need forgiveness. So they were good. They were spared. They were all right. Not Amalek though. All right? Keep going.
For ye showed kindness for all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt.
All right, go ahead to verse 7.
Verse 7. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to serve. That is over against Egypt.
Keep going.
Verse 8. And he sent Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword.
All right, look at that. Now, he was told to kill everybody. He was told to kill everybody, destroy everything, utterly destroy it. Yeah, here he goes. He wanted to show some mercy to the king. Or show mercy to him. Go ahead.
Verse 9. For Saul spared Agag from the best of the sheep, and of the ox, and the fat, and the lamb, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them.
You see? So now they decided, they looked at, they saw all the treasures and everything. So, oh man, we know this ain't this, what they got, it ain't too bad. So all the good stuff they kept, now stuff they couldn't use, now they destroyed that. But they were told to destroy everything. But they spared the good stuff and they spared the king. They looked at the king, oh, well, you know what? Hey, guy, he's not that bad. Maybe he's all right. He's all right. He is begging for his life. Maybe we should forgive him. Maybe we should. You understand? You see how our people do? They still want to show their oppressor, you know what I'm saying, that kindness and such, man. But they don't show that kind of love for their brother. All right? So now we could go to verse 22.
Verse 22. And Samuel said, that the Lord has great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices.
All right, now earlier Saul was trying to convince Samuel about how he wanted to take all the good stuff and give it to the Most High. When Samuel was telling him that the Most High didn't want it, he gave you a specific order. He gave you a direct order to destroy everything. He didn't want anything from Amalek. He didn't want nothing from him. Nothing to sacrifice. He wanted it destroyed. You understand? So now Saul is asking for forgiveness. Asking for forgiveness. You understand? Keep going.
And in obeying the voice of the Lord, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
and to hearken is the fat of grain.
That's right, man. If we could just obey the Most High, we wouldn't need forgiveness. We wouldn't need forgiveness from sins, from trespasses. You understand? We will be in good graces, and we will also be in rulership. All right, because also you will see later on how Saul lost the kingdom. He lost the seat of rulership because he could not obey the voice of the Most High. He lost the seat of rulership because he wanted to spare and forgive an oppressor, an enemy of his. You understand? Right? Keep going.
Verse 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft,
Mm-hmm.
and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he has also rejected thee from being king.
That's right, man. That's what we're saying, man. He understand. He needs forgiveness now. He lost the seat of rulership because he did not obey the voice of the Most High, and now he's asking for forgiveness from the Most High. He's asking for mercy. You understand? But he showed mercy to the wrong people. Now the Most High is not showing mercy to him. Now the Most High is going to take his seat of rulership. All right. Now, if you could, let's go down to verse 32. Okay. We're going to verse 32. This is going to be something interesting here. We talk about, forgiving our enemies, forgiving our oppressors. Okay.
Verse 32. Then said Samuel, when you hit Agag the king of the Amalekites, and Agag came unto him willingly,
That's right. He came unto him delicately, real nice and humble. You understand? Real nice and humble. Very nervous. Very nervous. Because he knew who he was. He knew all the crimes he committed. You understand? And he knew that he was worthy of death. Keep going. Go ahead. That's right. Absolutely, he did. Absolutely. When your whole nation gets destroyed, but yet you the one that's still alive. Yeah, he knows he's in big trouble, but also he thinks that he might be able to get away somehow. He might be able to talk he just might be able to talk his way out of this thing. Right? Let's continue reading. Wow, look at that. Surely the bitterness of death is past. Look, hey, you done killed most of my people. You killed all my stuff. I mean, hey, surely you don't want to kill me. Surely I should have to pay for this too. I should have to pay for these crimes. Look, all the other guys paid for it. Like even the animals pay for our crimes. Come on, man. You can spare me, can't you? You can forgive me, can't you? Please dismiss it from your mind. Please let bygones be bygones. You understand? Hey, why don't we kiss and make up? Come on. Please accept my apology. Please, just overlook this little matter right here. Right? That's what the oppressor was trying to do. That's what Agag was trying to do. Keep going. Wow. Just as you couldn't forgive, you show no mercy, guess what? I'm not going to forgive you either. Just like you couldn't forgive my people, you didn't show them any mercy when they were trying to run from one oppressor. You saw how weak they were, and you attacked us from the back. You understand? Just as you've been promoting alternative lifestyles in our nation, promoting drug use, convincing us to kill each other. We're not going to forgive you anymore for it. And now you will finally face and be sentenced for your crimes. You will finally face punishment for your trespass and for your transgressions. Keep going. That's right. That's right. You understand? That's what the man of God did. And it was righteous in the Most High sight. It was glorious in his sight. You understand? And one day that will happen. One day that will happen where the oppressor will face punishment for his crimes. And there will be no more forgiveness for him. You understand? No more forgiveness. But in the meantime, before we can get to that point, we have to learn to forgive each other. Love your brother, love your sister, just as the scriptures say, you understand? The scripture says to never trust thy enemy. Right? Never trust thine enemy. And if you trust your enemy, you also love your enemy. And if you trust your enemy and you love your enemy, you will forgive him as well. Understand? But the Bible says to forgive your brother. Love your brother, not your enemy. You understand? Let's go to Gashan, if we could. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31. All right, no sweat, no sweat. Young man Ron, you still with me? Okay, cool. No sweat. All right, Gashan, if you could, let me get Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 31. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice.
That's right, man. Now this is the Apostle Paul speaking. You understand? And guess what? He is speaking to people just like him. He's speaking to other Israelites and teaching them. He's talking to other blacks, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and teaching them the scriptures, teaching them the will of the Most High. You understand? So put away bitterness and wrath from each other. You understand? Stop killing each other. Stop giving the oppressor a license to kill us and giving him memes about us. You understand? Stop allowing us to come up with cliche lines of propaganda like black crime. You understand? Don't have the bitterness and wrath amongst each other. Keep reading. Go ahead, Kashan. No sweat. Just read the verse again, please.
You want to start from the top?
Yes.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse. All bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice.
That's right. Don't do any of this, you understand? And stop promoting this in your music as well. Start promoting that, man. That's why the oppressor can do that. That's why the oppressor can hire so-called drug dealers to be rappers, because they got all this malice in their heart. You understand? They don't have love for their own people. You understand? That's why they can do that. We're the only nation that promotes that type of activity and violence against one another. Always us. It's never the other nations. You understand? It's never them. Keep going.
Verse 32. And be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you.
That's right. You understand? Be forgiving to one another. Love each other. You understand? But it said, be kind, even as God, for Christ's sake, has forgiven us. You understand? That's what Christ was sent back, so that we could learn to love one another, learn to forgive one another. You understand? Not to do all this for your oppressor. If you did that, it means Christ died for nothing. If you love Christ, you're not going to make his death in vain. You understand? You're going to do right by him and essentially do right by the Most High. You understand? And if we could, let's get our last scripture. Let's see, young man Ryan, if you still with me, can we go to Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20?
Come. Isaiah 8:20.
Yep.
Come with Isaiah, verse 20. Law and testimony.
All right, as you already know, to the law and to the testimony, everything you read today, everything you heard, you understand, from the I.S.U.P.K, for the history class for tonight, everything you read in the scriptures, and even in these articles, go ahead.
If they be not according to his word,
If they don't give you this truth, as the I.S.U.P.K is giving you, you understand, teaching you to forgive your brother, forgive your sister, love one another, be kind to one another, and keep that same energy for each other, and not for your oppressor. Keep going.
it is because there is no life in them.
That's right, man. You understand? If your leaders don't speak according to, your leaders are going to be so quick to tell you, oh, it's okay. It's okay. You just have to forgive your person. You just gotta love them. Understand? He'll come around eventually. Understand? If he doesn't teach you how we've been teaching you, what there is no light in him. If there is no light in him, then there is no truth in him. You understand? And essentially they will be false prophets and they will lead you into a burning house just like Martin Luther King did. You understand? Are there any comments or questions? Most High in Christ, Most High in Christ. All right, all right, all right. And with that, we will pass the glass off to the priest officer, the Pash Kaya.
It's the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. Where the I.S.U.P.K started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother system. When a new brother system comes to the school, there are limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to set themselves on the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, when a brother sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother sister. There's 6 months in which the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. My Ishra, that means in the Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you to the church or apartment or teacher. Priest farm, prayer offer for priests not mandatory. What's our amount like to give? The next holy convocation is going to be a Feast of Purim. It's going to be on the 14th and the 15th day of the 12th month. You're going to start at Sunday, March 5th, sundown, and ends at March 6th, Monday, sundown. You also can find it in the book of Purim, chapter 9, verse 20 to 31. And also, get up to 54th annual Passover. It's going to be held at 500 South Salisbury Street, Raleigh, North Carolina. It's going to be at the convention center downtown. Make sure you get your Passover fees, your hotel books, and your itinerary preserved. I'll walk in to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If any brother wants to be a trooper to school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. With that, get one person to teach men as well. A mighty Sabbat, a mighty rock. Y'all by Shem Yah Shabbat.
Y'all bar Shema Shabbat.
Well, I just said to y'all in Hebrew, may the Most High, in the name of Christ, bless you. Y'all taught me hands down classes.